Alrighty guys, today, like you can see in that thumbnail, we're going to poke a little bit of fun at Mojo Sports for a pretty funny Arena Club commercial. I want to talk about something that he raises towards the end of that commercial that I think needs to be reminded about trusted voices within the sports card hobby, because it's a bit contradictory for him to say the things that he is, and then more importantly, leapfrog into something that I saw on Instagram today regarding a box battle that Card Collector 2 and Jeff Wilson did that I think goes to the same points around trusted voices within the hobby, that also highlights a bit of a contradiction when it comes to Jeff wanting to do right by the hobby, specifically by kids. He's sort of done something here that I think left a bad taste in my mouth, and I want your opinion on this down in the comments below. Obviously, you guys would have all clicked on this video because you would have seen that thumbnail from Mr. Mojo Sports himself. I'm going to play this video for you now and then share my thoughts in a second around, trusted voices, like I said.
I've collected baseball, basketball, and football cards since I was a kid, and I almost gave it up until I found Arena Club. I can now buy, sell, and trade cards all day. I can even keep cards in my online showroom and auction them off. I can rip open slab packs online and have the cards quickly shipped to me. Build your collection today. It's completely transparent and I trust it. And the best part is you can do it 24/7 from anywhere. Anywhere. Anywhere.
Use code CLUB for 20% first-timer discount. Download Arena Club now or visit Arena.
So like you can see there, a bit of fun from Mr. Mojo Sports, talking about, ripping packs for Arena Club, sitting on the toilet. A little bit embarrassing, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. Not something I would do, but I understand the banter behind it. Now, very quickly, I want to quickly say, I respect the hustle from him wanting to do different things. That's not something I'd feel comfortable doing, spruiking a product like this. But all power to him wanting to, get that bag, do that hustle. The thing that I find very interesting with his comments was towards the end there, where he said it's completely transparent and he trusts them as a business, which is why you should go ahead and use them. Now, no hate towards Arena Club, but this is interesting for two reasons. Number one, Jay is the same person that he said he trusted Mark's Cards. And Mark's Cards was the infamous group submitter that essentially stole money from customers, right? They were a PSA group submitter. They took people's cards, they took people's money, and then didn't go ahead and pay PSA. They went bankrupt and lost all their money. And Jay infamously shouted out Mark's Cards and said they're a good business and this is what the hobby is all about. So again, when he talks about, trusting things and trusting a process, what does he know, right? He's just a dude with a camera that talks about things. So when you're thinking about people in this space shouting out product and talking about these sorts of things, you need to keep that in mind. And obviously, that was a long time ago. I'm sure Jay learned from that. But, I sort of see the same thing here. Just because he says he trusts Arena Club, what does that mean? And that goes to the sort of second point where it reminds me of the whole Lady Gaga Polaroid situation.
Because look at Gaga. She's the creative director of Polaroid. I like some of the Gaga songs. What the fuck does she know about cameras?
And the same thing sort of goes here. What does Mojo Sports know about repacks? What does he know about how repacks can be trusted and transparent? What does he know about selling a product like that? And that's the first, grain of salt that I take, because that's where the whole trusted voices piece comes in, because again, what does he know about that? But the reason why this commercial sort of rubbed me the wrong way is because if you look at his YouTube channel, Mojo Jay does a really good job when it comes to the younger audience, specifically kids, right? There's a lot of free giveaways for them. He sort of talks to them a lot at card shows, and you sort of see them gravitate towards him. So I don't really like this from that perspective, right? I've talked about in the past how I don't really like repacks and the whole gambling nature, how it's being pushed towards kids, because I think that's a really slippery slope to cause some pretty, dodgy and shady things from happening. And when you see a creator like him, who's fundamentally, there to have a user base for children, and he can argue against it, but go ahead and watch his vlogs and see how many kids go towards him. Seeing him sort of spruik this product that they're going to go ahead and watch and give him a pat on the back for is not a good thing in my opinion. So it's like, Jay, what are you trying to do here? I know you're trying to diversify or whatever it is, but at the same time, like, your audience is very young. They're very, respectful of you. They trust what you say. So you going ahead and saying, hey, this repack product is pretty cool, might incite them or interest them to go ahead and try and, bust it themselves or get interested and start doing it themselves. And is that what we actually want in the grand scheme of things? And obviously I want to say, like, I'm not hating on the dude. He put out an Instagram story the other day talking about, all the negativity towards him over the years and how he sort of came to the realization that the people pushing back are haters only, and they're only doing it because they're jealous. And that's, a really poor mindset to have as somebody a little bit older than him. My messaging to him would be, don't take that position, because you've got people out there saying things for a reason, like the things that I just mentioned. I'm not hating on you. I'm giving you a new perspective. So if you're seeing that as negativity, you're seeing that as hate, then you're sort of missing out on an opportunity to improve. And if you don't care, then what does that mean about your younger audience that watches you and wants to learn from you and respects you? now you're going ahead and selling a product like this or talking about a product like this. Is that what we actually want? And this sort of goes into a set of stories that I saw today from Mind Cycle Cards. I've talked about Mind Cycle Cards in the past, but these stories are in relation to a box battle, like I said, with Jeff Wilson and Card Collector 2. And I think this again goes to trusted voices in this space, saying one thing, wanting to be there for kids, wanting to do the right thing, and then at the same time doing the opposite of that and sort of undermining that position that they're taking. And that's why businesses like Arena Club don't make a whole lot of sense when they're hiring people to be a voice for them, when those people, aren't experts in the thing they're talking about. Now, if you're talking about, Jay making card show vlogs or something along those lines, and you want to get his opinion to talk about how good a card show is, i.e. market the national, that makes sense. But why Arena Club are you hiring somebody that knows nothing about a repack process to come in and say, hey, they're trusted? And the reason why they do that is because they want his viewers. And that goes to my point earlier about Jay. You've got a very young audience. Do you feel comfortable marketing that to those guys? And that's sort of what we saw here too. Now, I'm going to play these clips for you and share my thoughts, because Jeff's response to this situation, I think, highlights how out of touch he is. And again, why we need to question why he still remains a trusted voice in this space, which, is odd to say considering what he's done over the years, in particular with the whole Backyard Breaks comments from Backyard Grant at the start of the year. I'm going to click through this now and then share a bit more thoughts in a second. So you can see a comment over here from Mind Cycle where he's sharing this, post from Showley 2003 on Instagram saying that what he's sort of saying here lacks morals and ethics, and it relates to a box battle, like I said.
It worked out well. You're putting your money on me?
This
$5 I win? Oh, we got
guy
action on the game now. Wow. $6 on him? Wow, what is this?
$6.
You putting 6 in now? Man, we got some gambling taking place here at the Dallas Card Show. All right, don't look at my cards.
You're not. You can't.
I'm not gonna look. I'm not gonna look. I'm not gonna
Guys, we can't let Jeff know because I gotta win this.
I gotta hear reaction. I gotta hear reaction. Oh no. That doesn't sound good.
I lost my money, but it's okay.
We're done. We did talk about this.
All right, so you stopped. Have you officially stopped?
Absolutely could, Chad.
You were already putting your money down. This kid already put in his $6. He thinks he's lost.
It's a wrap. It's over.
Now, you guys can probably see what I think is a bit weird about this whole process. It's the fact that the Card Collector 2 and Sports Card Investor Jeff Wilson were having a bit of fun. They were basically doing a box battle. Kids wanted to get in on it, and they started betting on it in the background. And at one point, you hear the kid flag that he lost money on the bet because Card Collector 2 obviously pulled the downtown that you went ahead and saw. And then towards the end, Jeff Wilson flags the money. And to me, I don't like the look of that. And that goes back to the trusted voices in this space and why people that go ahead and say one thing and then do another, like, really leaves me scratching my head. It's like, Jeff, you come out and create this trade zone at the National to give kids a safe and ethical place for them to do deals at the National where they can be overseen, where they can't get ripped off. And then you go ahead and sort of come out with repacks, come out with supporting Arena Club, come out with supporting a narrative that goes towards, an unsafe place for kids, i.e. what happened with Backyard Grant and, similar things over the years. It's like, which way do you want to have it? Do you want to, have a safe place, or do you want to encourage, bad behavior? And obviously, this is just a bit of fun. So, in hindsight, Jeff could have come out and said, you know what, I get where you're coming from. This is not a good look. We'll try and be a bit more conscious of this sort of stuff happening. But he didn't really come out and say that. He basically said, well, it's $6. They're having a bit of fun. Get over it, which to me just goes against the ethics of the situation. Like, I understand they're just having a bit of fun. It's a box battle. Kids like to have fun. They want to sort of get in on the hype. But I would have liked to have seen Jeff here say in this instance what I just mentioned. Like, okay, we get it. It's not a good look. Next time we'll be a bit more conscious of this sort of stuff happening. We'll try and stop it from happening. But, at the end of the day, they were just having a bit of fun. But yeah, I'll try and learn from it. But when you sort of factor that in with him now entering the repack game, him supporting companies like Arena Club, it's like, are you a trusted voice? And when you sort of say you want to try and do the right thing, are you just saying it to save face, or are you here primarily to make money? And that's what's really frustrating about processes like this, where you've got people shouting out companies because they want to make money, but they're sort of doing it in a way that sort of circumvents their own, morals to an extent. Like, when I see Jeff wanting to implement a trade zone, but then come out and sort of support repacking and all that kind of thing, it's like counterintuitive, in my opinion. I just don't understand why in this space people, feel the need to sort of take the cash and run with it and then just, blindly support these businesses. If you want to be, a trusted voice in this space, it's okay to push back. It's okay to say to Arena Club, sure, I'm happy to sort of support your product, but, it can only be done in these specific situations. Or, you know what, I'm trying to build, a sustainable industry here. I don't want to support you as a company. And that might be, cutting your own legs as a business in this space. But, from my perspective, your words need to carry some weight. You're either here to help the kids or you're not. And when I see stuff like this, it completely contradicts the whole situation. And, in the past, I've talked about Collectors MD as well. This is a post that's referenced again by Mindcycle Cards. Collectors MD is basically an individual group that's there to support people that are sort of, struggling with the addictive nature of breaking and gambling within this industry. And we need more voices like this to sort of put it out there that this stuff needs a bit more support, right? When you've got businesses coming out and talking about these things, they need to understand that they are a trusted voice. Kids watch Mojo Sports because they really like him. They like all the good things he does for this industry. And he does a lot of good things. You can hate on him all you want, but he does a lot of really good things for kids. So from their perspective, they're seeing him talk about this and then they want to go ahead and participate. And you need to be conscious of the power of your words. Kids are going to follow you and start using that. And is that what we want? And the same thing, again, goes back to Jeff. There's been so much focus on repacks and Arena Club and all this crap from him. It's like, come on, be a bit more sensible with this. And then at the same time, from these businesses in this space, they're just throwing money left, right, and center at people that are sort of just willing to follow them blindly. Like, guys, take this stuff with a grain of salt. There are a lot of trusted voices in this space. I'm not here to pat myself on the back or anything like that. I'm just here to sort of hold people accountable. Again, I will say, I'm not saying people can't go ahead and chase the bag. Make all the money you want, but set some standards when you go ahead and do it. If Mojo Sports wants to go ahead and partner with Arena Club, maybe think of a more efficient way to go ahead and do it. And again, that thumbnail was pretty funny, him sitting on the toilet. It's not something I would go ahead and post, but he's posted more embarrassing things in the past. But, it's a bit of fun. It's a bit of banter. I can sort of see that. I wouldn't feel super comfortable doing that myself, but it is what it is. So I know you guys probably clicked on that very quickly when you went ahead and saw that. But let me know your thoughts down below, because maybe I'm off base with this. I just don't like it. I think the hobby needs to do better. The industry needs to do better about the people that it trusts. We've talked in the past, there's a lot of content creators out there that are now focusing on negativity, right? They're talking about all the issues within the hobby and why things need to get better. And the pain point was that I said in my video the other day, these are the same people that told you the thing they're now talking about is a problem, is not a problem 3 years ago. So they're talking about it today and telling you it's not going to get worse. So for the same reasons, like I said the other day, they didn't talk about it 3 years ago. The same reasons why they're not going to push back today about why it needs to be better. And that's on the whole, regulation in this space, the pushback and repacks, it's the pushback on the breaking mindset, it's the pushback on the increasing prices of this product. All these people in this space are getting paid to talk positively about these things, and they're too afraid to push back when there's nothing really stopping them. I don't understand why content creators in this space don't understand that they're the ones with the power. They have the leverage. They want to come in here, these businesses, and pay money to stay and make money. There's very few, creators in this space that actually get good views. And if you're one of those, you have the power. Because sure, they might want to go ahead and sponsor someone else and pay someone else. But if you're getting good views, they're not going to get the same reach that they would get from you. And people need to understand that. So anyway, I'm rambling. Trusted voices in this space. Very disappointed to sort of see that from Jay. Make your bag. But you know what? You got kids following you. Be a bit more switched on. Jeff Wilson, pull your bloody head in. Are you here to sort of help kids, or are you here to support gambling within this industry? Because they are counterintuitive, in my opinion. Just like we've talked about with Rob Burbank from Burbank Sports Cards in the past. He's somebody really pushing back on breaking and the fractionalization of sports cards. Yet at the same time, like I pushed back on him last time, he's happy to have a Topps Rip night at his card store. And in the giveaway goodies that Topps give to kids on those nights, they have a $25 credit for Fanatics Live. It's like, mate, what the F is going on here? You want to sort of push back, but you're supporting a business to give free credit to young children, right? Like, what are we doing here? Like, push back. Stop this shit from happening. Like, anyway, sorry guys, this ended up being longer than I wanted. It is what it is. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.